Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are Group 4 of ADS653 from class KAM22850. In this tutorial presentation video, we are going to discuss on the topic of overspending, misspending, and loss of public funds issue in government expenditure towards project development. Firstly, let's take a look into what is auditing. There are various definitions of auditing provided by different scholars. According to R.E.'s auditing is the systematic examination of financial statements, records, and related operations to determine adherence to generally accepted accounting principles, management policies, and stated requirements. While R.K. defined auditing is concerned with the verification of accounting data, determining the accuracy and reliability of accounting statements and reports. From these definitions, it can be assumed that auditing is the process of evaluating an organization's or an individual's financial records and statements in order to determine whether they are accurate and satisfy all applicable rules, regulations, and laws. The auditing process is closely related to the Public Account Committee, PAC. PAC is a parliamentary committee responsible in examining Auditor General AG reports and scrutinizing the government's finances as well as money allocated for public expenditure by Parliament. The establishment of the PAC is for the purpose of examining the accounts of the Federation and the appropriation of the sums granted by the Parliament to meet public expenditure. Such accounts of public authorities and other bodies administering public funds as may be laid before the House. Reports of the Auditor General lay before the House in accordance with Article 107 of the Constitution and such other matters as the committee may think fit or which may be referred to the committee by the House. In a broader sense, the PAC's role is to assist the Parliament in holding the government to account for its use of public funds and resources through examination of public accounts. The PAC has a significant role in ensuring that the accountability and effective governance of the public sector is practiced in government dealings. Auditing is important in order to help in the detection and prevention of errors and frauds. An auditing process will determine whether an organization is providing a true and fair view of its financial performance and position, which on its own is something any organization wants to achieve. It is because fraud is an intentional act by one or more individuals among management, employees, or third parties, which results in a misrepresentation of financial statements. Therefore, the auditing is important in order to prevent the issue from occurring. Other than that, it provides credibility to a set of financial statements and gives the shareholders confidence that the accounts are true and fair. It is because auditing provides assurance to investors and creditors that company funds are handled appropriately. Auditors protect the public from investing in companies that use corrupt business practices or that attempt to defraud investors with false financial statements. By reviewing financial statements and digging into accounting records, auditors can determine whether the financial statements and records accurately illustrates the organization's true financial profile. There are two types of audit, which are internal audit and external audit. Internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity that adds value and improves the operations of an organization. It helps an organization's goals by implementing a systematic, disciplined approach in assessing and improving the efficacy of risk management, control, and governance systems. Internal auditors often engage on a more advising role, providing recommendations to assist management in strengthening their systems and controls when they spot deficiencies in certain business areas. While external audit is an independent entity that exists outside of the organization, they are appointed by the firm shareholders and are focused on financial accounting or financial hazards. An external audit's focus is on providing an objective, independent evaluation and ensuring that the financial statements accurately represent the company's financial situation and have been produced in line with accounting rules. Therefore, it will provide greater transparency to the shareholders.
The issue that is related to the use of PAC to probe misspending and loss of public funds amounting to 65 million ringgit has been expressed in the Auditor General's Report 2020 Series 1 and was told by Wong Kah Wo, which is known as the Public Account Committee Chairman, in which he mentioned that the Auditor General has detected about 682 auditing issues, with 5 of them have the risk that potentially subject to disciplinary action. Therefore, the first issue can be looked in the context of the loss of public funds issue, in which it had cost about 44.53 million ringgit that involved the hiring of expatriates under the Home and Human Resource Ministries. Thereby, this loss of public funds might be due to the activities of expatriates' employment control activities. Besides, the other factors of the loss of public funds issue is due to the lack of accountability by the Home and Human Resource Ministries. It is because in the Auditor General report, they just found that 15,293 expatriates did not have the tax file, while 7,174 expatriates had tax arrears amounting to 65 million ringgit, and this show the ineffectiveness of taxation imposed by government, as well as the inconsistency of the taxation that had caused loss to the public funds, that also known as the revenue stream of the government. Next, the other issue can be looked through the case of wastage that is pertaining to the overspending and misspending activity. The overspending of government expenditure happened on a project to upgrade Kereta Api Tanah Melayu Berhad services. For example, this can be looked through among the implementation of the upgrading the Klang Valley double track project to improve commuter services, which incurred about 1.4 billion ringgit. Therefore, this project cost also might contribute to the factor of an overspending towards the project, which involved about 2.81 million ringgit, which is responsible under the Transport Ministry. Besides, pertaining to the misspending of government expenditure, it happened during the program of Renewable Energy Development Management, which involved about 16.77 million ringgit. Moreover, this loss might be due to the lack of systematic financial management, as well as ineffective plan which provided by the Energy and Natural Resources Ministry. This is because the project implementation made by the ministry do not achieve the targeted objective and outcome, as well as targeted impact of useful program, which also lead to the wastage of government expenditure. To be summarized, there are several issues occurred from this news which pertaining to the issue of the loss of public funds, as well as the case of wastage regarding with the overspending and misspending activities in government expenditure towards the project development and program that being implemented, which amounting to almost 65 million ringgit.
These issues of misspending and overspending will cause the delay on the deadlines and the structure of the project. This could be seen through the KTMB project. Over 31 KTMB project was approved in 2014 through the 10th Malaysia Plan, RMK 10. Based on the plan, the project will start on 2015 and finish in 2020 with the budget provide around 2.3 billion ringgit. However, from the auditing process in 2020, it shows that KTMB project is not yet complete. It has reached only around 67.7% in 2021. 19 over 31 KTMB projects were categorized as fully done, while the rest need to be extended on the contract and subjected to the compensation. This shows that the project is delayed since it cannot be operated and cannot be done according to the plan. One of the examples of the delay on KTMB project could be seen on the railway track Pasir Gudang PTPG project. The objective of this project is to upgrade the quality of railway and the system safety at the station. It was planned to be conducted around 24 months, started from 19 May 2016 to 18 May 2018. However, the audit report shows that only 42.6% that were fully accomplished, while 57.4% is not done yet. This kind of thing happen is because of the contractor had an issues on the budget and the payment provided. At the same time, this project had a difficulty on the structure of the railway since it often covered with soil.
About the second implication, which the project did not fulfill the standard criteria because it was out of budget. Well, some projects are considered as a failure when it did not meet the financial forecast or does not deliver within the agreed budget and time. It means that the project is overrun due to the unexpected cost during cost estimation and cost planning. There are times where the cost estimates are completely off. Hence, when the resources run out, the project stops, or it may be continued, but certain criteria may not be fulfilled. When the budget is not enough, the imbalance between personal resources and fundings will trigger competing priorities that will affect the execution of the project.
The implication from the issue of misspending and loss of public funds in government expenditure or project is that the price of services or goods, whether produced by the government or private sector, will be affected, such as an increase in the price of goods or services. As we know that this is not the first time the price of goods or the price in demand for services has been raised. This is because there is information saying that public spending allows the government to produce and purchase goods and services to meet objectives, such as in the process of providing public goods or redistributing resources to the people. However, if the government or the private sector fails to manage expenditure properly until the issue of excessive expenditure, the party, company or sector are forced to increase the price of goods or services to cover the cost of expenditure for the goods or services to be produced. For example, there is the issue of expenditure in excess of 2.81 million for the project to upgrade KTMB services under the Ministry of Transport. This will result in different KTMB ticket price will be increases.
What is special meeting by PAC? It is compulsory for PAC to meet after the Auditor General present an audit report. By this meeting, it will identify the issues raised based on the report. Even in 2009, the committee has recorded that they had a meeting around 40 times for the whole year. The PAC special meeting will be joined by PAC Chairman, Deputy Chairman, Secretary, together with Auditor General. And there's another additional 40 members, which is representative from NAD, AGD, MOF, EPU, and Public Service Department. The Auditor General will explain the issues, at the same time provide a recommendation, so they together will discuss and determine the decision during the investigation in PAC special meeting. Example of special meeting that has done is on the KTMB case, where the PAC has identified the problem arise and providing the solution on the problem of KTMB project had 18 sample of KTMB project in Selangor, Johor, Perak and Kelantan out of 31 project sample has been chosen for this auditing process. As a result from the auditing process and special meeting, the causes of these issues of misspending on KTMB project happened because of the use of 10 type of replacement tools around 2.81 million ringgit for the project of overhead sanitary system. This misspend happened is because the KTMB project is not done properly with the optimum ways. So what are the recommendations provided by PAC through this special meeting for KTMB project? PAC clearly stated that the KTMB need to identify clearly on the scope and needs for the project, so that the changes on the project could not be done easily, since it could affect and made project delays on the duration of the project to be accomplished by the contractors. Also, KTMB need to plan on the tools and equipment that will be used on the project with the more optimum for the storage issues and for the reduce the risk of lost equipment, so that the issues of misspending could not happen again in the futures.
Another recommendation that can be done is to ensure the government bodies are led by the competent leaders. Government need to ensure that the hired leaders uphold the code of ethics and preserve the integrity to lead the government bodies. The leaders of the respected agencies or bodies must be free from any integrity deficiency issues. Other than that, a regular record check must be done to the appointed leaders and the higher officers to track their work records. Ethic audits may also be done to the leaders, especially those dealing with tendering and procurement projects.
Thirdly, the recommendation for this related issue and application is by enhancing the misspending action by putting necessary monitoring and control activity from government body and mechanism. Effective monitoring and control activity of expenditure activities by the government is an essential element to the foundation of good and public and successful public financial management. This is because fiscal regulations, budget plans in the medium or long or annual term are meaningless if spending cannot be controlled in the process of project or program implementation. This is because the lack of monitoring and control from the ineffective spending activities, misspending, public loss will have a negative impact on the country financial system. Therefore, we can see that there is an entity which is Public Accounts Committee (PAC) in Malaysia, which is appointed as a special parliamentary committee that is independent and important to oversee all matters of administration of public funds against the responsibility of the government itself. To explain further, the need for this PAC should be given more comprehensive and extensive emphasis in ensuring that the government is accountable for the use of public funds and resources to the examination of public accounts. For example, the PAC is very serious about cases of waste, misspending and loss of government money amounting to 65 million, involving several cases by holding important meetings. And another example is the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, which is the KPD and HEP, to review and monitor ticket prices during the celebration season from not taking advantage of excess by any sectors or companies itself.
In conclusion, it can be seen that the public account community held a great responsibility toward this misspending and loss of the public fund issue. It is important to ensure that each of the solutions, which are the special meeting, government bodies and monitoring mechanism, can be done successfully so that this issue can be solved completely. Based on this issue, in order to avoid this kind of things happen again, each and every government bodies need to emphasize clean and transparent conduct so that this misspending and loss of public fund can never occur again in the future. Malaysia needs to make Denmark as their role model because based on the ranking, Denmark is in the first place as a country that successfully implements transparent government practice. As a good public citizen, it's important to learn and know about these things so that the people right can be protected and be used in the correct way, which can benefit not only to the country but also to the public itself. That's all from us. Thank you.